Hello, greetings everybody. Hope we are all having a great day. So, please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly do so. So, that being said, let's talk about how to sew our basic gown. So, as you can see on the diagram, I'm talking about the that um sewing, because after cutting your basic gown, the next thing you have to do is to sew up the dart. Now, the sewing of the dart is not just on the material, you also do the same thing on the lining. All right, so as you can see with what I'm doing on the machine, I'm sewing the darts. Now this dart is not sewn only on the material, you'll be doing the same on the material and the lining. Sew up the darts, okay, the darts on the waist and the darts on the bust area. So you can see I'm done sewing the darts, the waist darts, and also the bust darts. Okay, that's the waist dart, then that's the bust dart as shown there. It's important to show the dart. I'm done with that. That same thing has been done also on the lining, the waist dart and the bust dart. Okay, and then the next thing we have to do now, this is the back pattern, which is cut into two as is shown there. I've sewn the darts also as well. So the next thing we have to do now is to fix the zip. To fix the zip, now you have to join the two backs together. You can see like it's shown on the diagram. I'm still showing you the dots there. Now you join the right side to right side of the back pattern as shown on the screen there. You can see how I'm joining both together, and you make sure the both lines align. Once it aligns, now we have to talk about the zip. All right, so that part I pointed is where my zip will stop, that point there. Okay, so I'm adding my zip from that point down. So once you've, before ironing, I talked about this. This is the zip area where you attach your zip. Now you pick a color that goes with your fabric. So what you have to do next is this. Once you've sewn all the darts, okay, the next thing before ironing, so you just do the ironing at once. Take your zip, whichever zip you're using, make sure it's a long zip. Now place it like this on this area. This is how to do it, because we have to sew it accurately. If you can make it half an inch above, like the zip should be half an inch above, like so. You see, just take it half an inch and so that it will align with our half inch we did there on the neckline. Now place it like this all the way down. I believe you can see what I'm doing. Now this zip is quite long, so I'll tell you to come up 3 to 4 inches above the zip. Okay, so for me, I will measure like 5 inch, because the zip is quite long. I'll measure 5 inch, 4 to 5 inch above. I believe you can see 4 to 5 inch above the zip end. Okay, so let me use, let's say 5 inches. I'll mark 5 here. This is where I'll sew to. You see that? So I've measured from there up. Then our slits, I don't want my slits too much. I'll use let's say to enable me work, I might not end up using the slit, but let me say I'll use 4 inches or 5 inches. Let me use 5 for my slit. I don't want it showing. So once you've done this mark, this is where my zip is stopping, this is where my slit is stopping. So you measure 1 inch. This is where you are sewing. Just 1 inch, like so. Take your roller and connect. So this is where I'm sewing now. Remember, our sewing allowance is what? 1 inch. So I'll sew from here. Remember to back stitch here, and then the back stitch the end of the slit, or the beginning point of your slit as well. So you're back stitching both sides, and then you sew in between. So when you sew, you have this part open and this part open. You do the same as well on the lining. So let me iron and get back to you. Guys, I'm done ironing. You can see how neat. Ironing is the key when it comes to sewing. I'm done ironing, and then let me show you the back. This is what the back looks like. I just actually use my pin to hold it so that I didn't sew it yet. I just held it down rather. So this is the back, okay? This is the back. I use my pin to support it. So this is the end game. At the end of the day, this is what you achieve once you've ironed. You can see I have the zip part opened, like so. You see that it's ironed, well ironed. This is my one in. This is where I'm attaching my zip. Is well ironed. Now I did both on both sides. This is the zip area, and this is where I sealed, and then you have the slits. Let me show you what I did. If you remember, I showed you how to, the measurements. That's the stopping point of your zip, and then this is the stopping point of your slits. So I used my pin to support it, but I'm going to sew in between and then fix my zip. I did the same on the lining. Whatever you did on the material, you repeat the same on the lining. This is the same thing I did. I used my pin to hold it. I'm still going to sew it as well. This is the stopping point for the slit, and then the stopping point for the zip. So if I turn it around, just the same thing I did. Whatever amount you take on the lining, if you take away 4" or 5" away from the zip, you do the same on the lining, or as you've done this on the slit, on the lining, you do the same, just the same thing. Whatever you take for your slit opening, be it any amount, do the same on the material. And then the same thing goes here for the zip. Whatever measurement you take, like what I did with the material, if you followed, you see, I did this, okay, and then I measured up so that my zip doesn't get to the slit area. You do the same thing as well on the lining. So let's sew and fix the zip. So guys, I'm going to sew here now, this part that I sealed. I'm going to sew from here to here. So remember to lock both sides like I said. So I've sewn both sides. So what I have here is my slits. I've sewn the slits and then the opening for the zip. So I'll do the same on the lining. Where's my boot here as well? I'll sew from here to this point. Remember to back stitch. There's a pin somewhere here. The pin and the must never meet. If it meets, it clashes and breaks your needle. So make sure they don't meet at all. So I've done the same on both the material and the lining, okay? So you can see that as well. This is so visible for you to see. Now that being said, let's fix the zip. Fixing of the zip. So for the zip now, get your pins. Make sure you have enough pins. So I'll pin it down and then we'll continue from there. Make sure you have enough pins. And then now, this thing is on the right side. Turn it to the wrong side like so. This is to fix your zip. Now, because I want to fix it the invisible way, this is the right side while this is the wrong side. You place it like this, okay? Because I want this place showing, but I'm fixing it like an invisible zip. Now grab one side like so. Allow here to come up by ½ this zip to come up by ½ zip down, okay, like so, and then pin. Make sure that the teeth and the ghetto, this thing that I iron, aligned. So I'll pin down like so. Now is so I'm done pinning, so you can see what it looks like. See, it's pinned all the way down. I believe you can see what I'm doing. You can see it's pinned. So if I zip this, you see how it will turn out to be. Not soon yet, but this is what it will look like. So I'll sew and get back to you. Just so guys, I'm done sewing. You can see how neat it looks like. Very neat. Now let's talk about the neckline again. Let's talk about the finishing of the neckline. Now, you know that all I did was cut the material and the lining. So we'll need what we call stay, so that when sewing this V neckline, it will look very neat and sits well. It will relax at the neckline. So what you need to achieve that is your stay. Okay, this is called gum stay. Okay, so I have to cut this like a facing, so that when sewing the neckline, it sits very well. So I'm going to show you how to cut this. It's very quick and simple, so that your neckline will look even and neat. Just grab your pattern paper. The previous one you use is torn here. Mine is torn, but I can still manage it. Now measure 2 inches. Remember, we are using the V-neck for both the using it for the back neckline and front neckline. Measure 2 inches, okay, like so. Just take it straight down for the facing. Now for this point here, you know, because it's a V, you can just take it down, and as well, if you have to cross it like so, doesn't matter. Connect, and then like so. I'm going to seal here up because it's done. So I've sealed it up. Once you've done this, all you just need to do, I'll show you again. From this point here, you measure 2 inches, like so. See, 2. Make sure it's 2, 2, 2. Then when you get to this point here, you know this is the break point for the V-neck. Come down 2 inches. You can make it from here, this break point here. You can make it lower, but what matters is make sure you exceed. Make sure you exceed this point. Then you can come down as low as possible. So I just came down. I didn't even measure this. I just came down enough, long enough to accommodate my V-neck properly. You can take it down if you have to. It's all about accommodating. You can see you can take it down, but the main point is exceed this part. This is the V part. Make sure you exceed it, but make sure it's 2 inches all the way. So let's cut. Once you've done that, cut it. This is condemned already. We are not using it again. Okay. Now, this is your facing. This is where not facing, rather, the stay, so that the neckline relaxes when sewing. They have varieties of them. Okay? Now, I'm using this to cut the front and the back because I'm applying this both on the material and the lining. Now, remember the front is cut on fold. Place this on fold. This is for the front. Now let's cut the back. I'm using the same thing for the back because it's the same neckline. So since the front is cut on fold here, the back you come out by 1 inch and cut the same thing. Here, the front was cut on fold just at the edge, like so, you see, but for the back, you come out by 1 inch because of the zip area. This is the zip area. I have to open it. You don't keep it like so, like that. Open it up for the zip. Okay, so this is how I can show you. The front is on fold, and this one I'll iron it and get back to you and show you what it looks. So guys, this is it. I've cut and ironed it. So this is what you get for the facing. All this is just to allow the neck relax when sewing, and this is what the front looks like as well, you see. So make sure you have your facing, follow it the way I taught you, and then iron it on it. Now you're not just doing it. Most people will just add it to the material and leave the lining, but I don't like doing that. Okay, I add everything including on the lining. You can see it's added to the lining as well. I hate adding it only to the material, and then I find it difficult sewing it on the lining. So it's a matter of choice. Either way works. Okay, you can either add it on the lining and omit adding it to the fabric, or you add it on both. Anyways, let's get to the finishing part. Thanks for watching. So it's time to sew the neck area.